Hi folks, hope you're okay today. I just want to tell you a quick story. I was in Manchester yesterday and I was doing some evangelism, and this guy come up to me. He had a bit of a biker's jacket on, kind of heavy metal kind of jacket with red lapel and denim style, and he come up to me and I said, "Oh, what kind of music do you like?" He said, "How do you know? Why did you ask me that?" or something like that. I said, "Well, you seem musical with the jacket." He said, "Well, I'm actually at university studying music." And I said, "What kind of music you like?" And he went through a whole raft of different music. I said, "Oh, I like that, I like that, I like that." And then we got talking. He said, "You know what?" He said, "He spoilt my fun." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because, to be honest, I had a really bad day and I wanted to come down and argue with some Christians. I mean, really argue." I said, "But to be honest," he said, "you're too nice to argue with." And I said to him, "Look, mate," I said, because he told me he was an atheist. I said, "Look, mate," I said, "I respect you as an atheist." I said, "I respect your position. I've got loads of respect for you, loads of time for you, mate." He said, "Why do you say that?" I said, "Because I can tell you're sincere. I can tell that's where you're at, that you're sincere about it, and I've got respect for it." I said, "But I've got no respect for the militant atheist on the internet." I said, "But I've got respect for you." He said, he said, "When I come in town again, look me up and we'll have a chat." I said, "Alright, mate." And I've got loads of respect for anybody, not just atheists, but any person who holds their beliefs, whatever that belief is. If they hold it and they're sincere about it, then I've got respect for them. And there are many atheists out there who are just sincere people. They're good, sincere people, and they're decent people, they're fair people, and they're intellectually honest people. And they honestly believe that atheism is the better position. And I've got respect for that. I've got loads of respect for that. I've got loads of time for that. The only problem I've ever had with atheism, the only reason I ever got into commenting on atheism, is because of the militant atheism on YouTube. When I hear Aaron Ross say there's no evidence for the Christian faith, that gets me angry. Because even if Christianity is not true, there's still some evidence. Even if Islam's not true, there's still evidence. Even if Buddhism's not true, there's still evidence. Even if atheism wasn't true, there would still be evidence. So for someone like Aaron Ross to say there's no evidence for the Christian faith, I just think that really angers me, because I just think that is so unfair and so unkind to say that about anybody's position, let alone Christianity. And it gets me angry. And when Dawkins says that it's like paedophilia if you teach a child creationism, that gets me angry. When he says you've got to shame people for believing in the Eucharist, when he said that at Reason Rally, that gets me angry. When I hear the rhetoric of Hitchens' videos and lectures and debates, the way he talks about Christianity, it gets me angry, because it's just unfair. When I listen to Sam Harris and he's insinuating that those who are fundamentalist Christians are a danger to society, that gets me angry. And that's what has fueled me making the videos that I did for those 3 years, because I just felt at the end of the day that this was not right, that this was. And then to top it all, you've got an army of these internet atheists who are sabotaging Christian apologists, investigating their private lives, attacking their personality to the point where they get them on the shows, mute the mic, and savage the Christian apologist. They get also lots of Christians who don't know much onto their shows, and then they rip them to pieces and use that as a saying, look at Christians, they don't know the stuff. that gets me angry, because that's just not honesty, it's not fair, it's not right, and it gets me really upset, and it gets me really, really angry. But when I meet an atheist in town, in Manchester, or I'm travelling about at the moment to different universities, when I meet atheists on the ground who are sincere, I mean, I meet one or two that are not sincere, but most I meet that are sincere, I've got loads of respect for. I'm willing to listen to what they've got to say. And I met a good atheist yesterday, a sincere, honest, intellectually honest atheist. And if I meet people like that, then I've got tons of respect for them. But I've got no respect whatsoever for the internet atheism that's going around cyberbullying. And that's all they're doing, is cyberbullying. They're just ripping into Christianity, ripping into Christians, and it's cyberbullying. They'll pick on an apologist, they'll pick on someone, and then they'll just cyberbully them to death. Haranguing them, harassing them, trying to trick them, trying to investigate them, trying to sabotage them. And then eventually, when they broke them down, the Christian apologist leaves YouTube. That's what's happened to quite a few Christian apologists. And also they bully Christians off YouTube as well. And I wanted to stand up against it, and I've made a stand against it. I might have made some silly videos, but at least I made a stand against the bullying. At least I made a stand against it. None of you Christians made a stand against the bullying. None of you nice atheists made a stand. I know one or two atheists have come out against this bullying atheism. You know, fair play to you, but most of the decent atheists have not come out and condemned this bullying, cyberbullying atheism that's around and been around for a while. That the Magic Sandwich Show and Fundamentally Flawed and Live Life 8072 have been advocating. And when we're onto them, and when people do start to speak out, they'll be chameleons and they'll change their tack. But nobody stood up to them. I stood up to them because I don't like bullies, and they're bullies. But I've got tons and tons of respect for an atheist who's sincere. An atheist who's sincere and says to me, Jay, I don't agree with your Christianity, I don't believe in it, I don't think there's evidence for it, mate. And then they gave me the arguments, and I give them, and then they said, well, Jay, I'm still not convinced. I said, okay, fair cop, that's your position, I respect that. Because you know what that's called? It's called democracy. It's called democracy. I know you internet atheists have kind of forgotten the word, but that's what it's called. It's called democracy. It's called you have to respect each other. And I respect atheists. I've got loads of time for atheists. I've got loads of time for sincere atheists. And every time I meet an atheist in Manchester or around north of England, where I'm going at the moment at different campuses, every time I meet an atheist, we have good conversations 99% of the time. And it's respectful, it's amicable, and it's fair, and it's honest, and it's a pleasure to talk to atheists on the ground. I love talking to atheists on the ground. I really, really do. I'm passionate about atheists on the ground. I would defend their right to freedom of speech with all my heart, mind and soul. If anybody tried to take the free speech of an atheist on the ground away, I would be the first to defend them. Anybody's free speech, I will be there to defend them. But what I will not put up with, what I will not have, is internet cyberbullies on the internet. I will not put up with it. I will not have it. You will not cyberbully people. You will not put people down. You will not try to make people silence people from having a voice. You will not try to sabotage people. You will not try to bully people. You're not trying to do that and get away with it. And you're making a bad name for yourself, Magic Sandwich Show, Fundamentally Flawed, and Live Life 8072, and Dark Matter, and all the rest of you You made a bad name. You're not convincing anybody. Nobody's convinced. Most of you are buying your views. Live Life, a Magic Sandwich Show. There's no way that those views that they've got are real people actually watching their videos. Because you'd have to be off your head to be watching their videos half the time. There's no way. They've bought their views and they've bought their subscribers. There's no two ways about it. And most of these atheist sites that have 100,000 subscribers and they get 100,000 people watching their video, there's not that many people in the atheist movement around the world, for goodness sake. They've bought their views and they've bought their subscribers. Theirs is a house of cards that they're not as powerful or as big as we think they are, or as people think they are. They're not. They've bought their views and they've bought their subscribers. That's what they've done. And at the end of the day, what they've gone and done is use that to sabotage Christians and Christian apologists, and gone on a very sour, bitter, nasty crusade against Christianity and Christians. And nobody's had the guts to speak out against it and to speak out against these people who are just corrupt, who are damaging people, emotionally damaging people, taking advantage of people, getting people on their shows who are vulnerable and then attacking them verbally and manipulating them. That's what they've often done on their shows. You don't see them getting any professors. You don't see any Christian professors on these shows. You don't see any Christian theologians on these shows. They get vulnerable people often, and they take advantage of them. And they always outnumber these Christians. Whenever they get a Christian on their show, they always outnumber the Christians or outnumber the Christian. Most of these shows don't have any women. The male chauvinist, they've only just started to get women. The Magic Sandwich Show has only just started to get women on the show because I mentioned it. They've started to get Little House on the Prairie, Mrs. Iron Ra on, and that's only because I complained that they didn't have any women on their show. But I don't do many shows, and I've had one show, and I've had women on my show. But they, and I've only done one or two shows. They did hundreds of shows and never had any women on. It was only till I complained that they got a woman on their show. And then Thunderfoot's done an interview with the woman. Big deal. They've been doing it for years, but they never had any women on. The point is, what I'm trying to say is I love and respect atheists, and I'll listen to atheists. I'll listen to an atheist, and if an atheist gives a good argument and puts me on the back foot, I'll admit it. I was in Liverpool, and an atheist asked me a question and put me on the back foot, and I put my hand up. I said, "That's a good question. Fair play, mate." Two agnostics debated me in Leeds, and they beat the living daylights out of me intellectually. They were philosophy students, third-year students. We had a bit of a debate, and they beat me up. I had to admit, yeah, okay, fair play. You've caught me there, all right. And if people are intellectually honest and they say things that I can't answer, I'll have to hold my hand up. I don't have all the answers. And I've got respect for agnostics. I've got respect for atheists on the ground. And like I said, I would do everything. I would stand up for any atheist or any agnostic. If their free speech was ever being taken away, I'll be the first to defend their right for freedom of speech. But I will not put up with this despicable militant atheism on the World Wide Web. I'll not put up with it. To my dying day, I will be against it because it's a bullying movement and it bullies people, and I'm sick of them bullying people. They bully. They're just bullies. Look at where have they ever had a Christian on their show and it's one-on-one? They don't have it. It's always 4 against 1, 3 against 1, 6 against 1. They're just bullies. And I don't like bullies. Never have and never will. Thank you for listening.